Howdy. So, last week, actually, I think I did pretty good in terms of predictions, but my most confident one didn't go well. Um, Having said that, I'm gonna try something new this time. By something new, it's something I should have done last week, but I'm gonna do it this time. One, I know it's Thursday. The game's not gonna predict, but I think from last week's video, if any of you are watching again, I can kind of see I'm honest. Um, the Dolphins are going to play the Bills, and I think the Bills are going to win. Last week I said the Commanders would beat the Packers, and that did not happen. This week I think it's pretty safe to assume that for the Thursday night game that is already going to be out. I think the Bills are going to win. The Dolphins, they're in a bad ways. They remind me of the first half of the Brian Flores led Dolphins back in 2018, I think. I don't know, way back, but they were trying to lose, and ugh, similar here. I think Mike McDaniel is coaching for his job. I think his offensive schemes that once made him a legendary, well, not once made him a really good coach and made the Dolphins really good teams. They've been figured out, and because of it, I think, yeah, they're just that entire organization is dead men walking. They're going to be fired. The Bills, Josh Allen had a slow game, but it's Josh Allen, so who cares? He's Josh Allen. James Cook played amazingly. The Bills are gonna. It's an AFC East game, so it's not like 100%, but I'm very confident that the Bills are gonna win. But anyways, oh my goodness, I already got off track. Yeah, I'm gonna keep track of the predictions I make. So next time I'll go over that. I'll go over my predictions, see what my record was, and see how good I am. Which it doesn't feel that good right now, but we'll make progress. All right. I think right now my safest pick is the Bills. I think they're gonna win quite handedly. Anything can happen because it's a divisional game, and I think those are have more volatility. But and it isn't Buffalo, I guess, but it's not like cold Buffalo yet. Miami lucked out with that, right? Miami and cold Buffalo is insta loss guaranteed. But this one, they have a chance, 80% chance. I think Buffalo just wins. So, yeah, Buffalo. I am taking Buffalo to win. Next up is Battle of Mid. Going into the season, I thought this would be a high-powered, very fun, exciting game. And even if JJ McCarthy and Joe Burrow were healthy, I don't even think it would have been a high-powered game. I think the Bengals would have rolled the Vikings. Now it's closer. It's Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. So, wow. Knock your socks off. The Vikings are a walking injury. So the Bengals, I mean, you can't say they're healthy because their best player is hurt. Cat, what are you doing? Okay, you can't say the Bengals are healthy because their best player, arguably their best player, is hurt, Joe Burrow. And, you know, eh. I think they're healthier than the Vikings, obviously. I think Carson Wentz is better than Jake Browning. I think the Bengals are a little crestfallen because I think Joe Burrow's injury is a lot heftier than the McCarthy injury. Let's see. Burrow, is he out for the season? He had surgery. Oh, he's out for a while. So, um, yeah, Bengals. I think both of these teams are equally bad right now. I think they got lucky that they're playing each other this early, so they'll still be able to pretend they have hope for the season. I'm gonna be a homer, right? This is like my least reliable pick every week because I'm Vikings, but I think the Vikings still think they have hope for the season. Um, Christian Darrisaw might be back. I was for sure he'd play week 1, and now it's week 3 and he hasn't been back. This is the last game the Vikings have without Jordan Addison, so I think the Vikings take this in a snooze fest that I will be tuning into. But this one I'm not confident at all. I think both teams are trash, so we'll see. The next game, Texans at Jaguars. Texans are 0-2, I believe. I think they changed that. Yeah, the Texans are 0-2, Jaguars are 1-1, but the Jaguars played garbage Miami. Or I think they played garbage Miami. They played garbage, right? Yeah, let's see. Who did the Jaguars play to? Who have they beaten? Oh, they beat the Panthers. Yeah. I guess it is better than Miami, but nah. I think the Texans win. They're 0-2, but they've had a rough schedule of it. They played the Rams and the Buccaneers. Like, those are two real teams, right? Um, or did they? Oh my gosh, I have no memory. Yeah, they played the Rams and the Buccaneers. Just making sure. And yeah, I think the Texans are still good, right? They're a good team, like I mentioned last week, which I predicted correctly that they would lose because I think Tampa Bay's Buccaneers is like a really good team, and they only lost by 1 point. Uh, I think the Texans really just had a rough go of it at the beginning. They're a good team. They're not Super Bowl contenders yet. I think they can become one over the course of the season, especially if they continue to improve. But yeah, against they're going up against the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence, who's fighting to prove that he's not mediocre, but proving that he's mediocre more and more and more. I think the Texans win this one because I think the Jaguars they'll beat all the bad teams, but whenever they go up against any form of competition, they're gonna lose. Charlie, get the hell down! What the hell? They're gonna lose, right? So I think the Texans are better. They're consistent. So far, they've played exactly how I've expected them to, and I think they get their first win and start to revive the season, which might be needed because the Colts are looking a lot better, right? We're talking about teams I expect how to have performed how I expected. This next matchup, Colts at Titans, the Colts are not what I expected in the slightest. Oh my goodness. The Colts have been on a tear. Daniel Jones is looking like Patrick Mahomes. More like Patrick Mahomes than Patrick Mahomes, honestly. Um, the Titans' Cam Ward has looked great. If I'm a Titans fan, I'm like, yo, we got a guy, right? We can do things. Uh, but the rest of the team sucks. The Colts' rest of the team has been playing well. I hate to say, but I'm getting kind of last year's Saints vibes from the Colts. I know I mentioned about some other team last week, but right. However, I think Tennessee sucks. I think the Colts aren't as bad as the Saints were last year, and until I'm proven wrong, I Daniel Jones has won my faith. I think the Colts beat the Titans, and I need to catch up on my predictions, writing them down because oh my god, I've only written down the Bills, right? So I'll write down Vikings, I'll write down Texans, and then I'll write down Colts. I think the Colts win this game. I think they win it. I think the Titans put up a fight, but they're never really in it. Maybe you could get some garbage time touchdowns to give them hope, but yeah, I think Daniel Jones' train keeps going. For this next game, Raiders at Commanders. So last week, I was really high on the Commanders, and they let me down. The Raiders, who they play? They played the Chargers. Yeah, I didn't expect them to win that game, and they did not, and they played worse than I expected. I'm still high on the Commanders. Going into this season, I still expect them to win the division, but I expected them to be inconsistent. They don't seem like a team that like will have a base level of play. I think they have crazy highs that can go really far, and lows where they can lose to anybody. But man, only getting 9 points in a divisional game, that's bad. Believe me, that's bad. I think the Commanders are mad. I think they bounce back. Given that Jaden Daniels plays, if Jaden Daniels does not play, then I think the Commanders are dead in the water. So actually, yeah, it's Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Is Jaden Daniels gonna? What's it looking like? Let's look at the Commanders' injury report. Will Jaden Daniels play? Let's find out. He missed. Wow, lots of quarterbacks are injured. He missed practice. He didn't play. Yeah. Well, if the I'm gonna stick with my pick because I want injury intuition to be part of it. I think the Commanders win. I think Jaden Daniels plays, and if he doesn't, I think it's a lot closer. But I think the Commanders can still win. They get the backup, having game plan for the backup boost that always seems to happen for some reason. I think the Commanders are going to win. But that's something to watch. My gosh, Burrow, McCarthy, Daniels, all out. These quarterbacks are dropping like flies. My goodness, what is going on? Okay, but yeah, I think the Raiders, you had an abysmal showing. You guys score more than 9 points against a divisional opponent. I don't care if it's a hardball defense. Come on. Okay, next matchup. I think y'all know by now I am a Eagles doubter. I did not pick them to win the division. I picked them to lose. Well, I guess I picked them to win week 1, but I didn't make a video for week 1. And I picked them to lose last week, and they did not lose. They were clowning on the Chiefs during the game. My God, trash talking. They were winning. Like, Chiefs do better, right? This one's close, right? I think the Rams are a very good team. I think they're in the upper echelon. I think if Matt Stafford can not fall off a cliff, which he hasn't been, I think they're Super Bowl contenders. I think Sean McVay he proved that he's an upper echelon coach last year, right? I talked about Mike McDaniel, how his scheme got figured out and he wasn't able to adapt, and now he's a bum, dead man walking. McVay, he came into the league, great scheme, did well. Then he got figured out. He had bad seasons. And then he adapted. And the Rams are great again, right? So, yeah, I think Sean McVay is on that tier of Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid type coach that, like, Nick Sirianni from the Eagles, that he can win anything. Though, Eagles, I'm willing to give Howie Roseman, the general manager, more credit than Sirianni, but they won the Super Bowl. They both deserve credit. You need both to be good. Having said that, I'm an Eagles hater. At least this season, or for now. I see a lot in the Rams. I think they're a better team. I think the Eagles lost too much in the offseason last year. I don't think they're going to repeat division champs again, the NFC East curse. The Rams have beaten good opponents. They beat the Texans, who I'm high on, even though they're 0-2, I guess. And they shellacked the Titans. I guess the Titans are the Titans. Who cares? But the Eagles, look, they had a close game against the Kansas City Mahomes, which is just Mahomes, which, you know what, it's still the Chiefs, right? Like, they're still a good team. But they also were in the fight of their lives against the Dallas Cowboys, who I guess they won last week, but, like, they took a miracle for them to win last week against the Giants. The Giants, right? So, I'm taking the Rams. If the Eagles prove me wrong again, we'll start to reconsider, but I think the Rams are the better team. I think they move on. I think they really assert themselves. This game is the one where they show the world, hey, don't sleep on us. They got slept on last year, right? They won a playoff game. They gave the Eagles a fight. No one ever really talked about them, it felt like. I don't know. I feel like no one during last season really cared about them when they should have. They were hot. Keep an eye on them. Next up is Falcons-Panthers. Well, I mean, I'm innately going to think the Falcons are better than they probably are, just because of how they just embarrassed my team last week, made them look like chumps, broke our starting quarterback, and moved on. And the Panthers, the Panthers haven't played very well. Like, if we're being completely honest. They lost to the Cardinals, who I think are slightly above average, but they're like Walmart Commanders, in which they're inconsistent, but like they tend towards bad than good. So I'm gonna take the Falcons. I think Michael Penix is good. Falcons fans are right to be very confident in him. He knew how to handle pressure last week. Their defense played well. Their defensive line got 5 sacks and a half, and then they just didn't care. They still got a sack, fumble. They played well. They dominated what I considered iffy on it now, to be a good team. I think the Falcons are going to win. I don't think it's going to cost them a lot of trouble. I think it's going to be, very similar to last week because, J.J. McCarthy sucks. So does Bryce Young. So, yeah. At least I can cope about J.J. McCarthy because I think he can get better. Bryce Young, Tier 3, man. So, I take Falcons to win pretty easily, honestly. Steelers, Patriots. Now this one's interesting. I think both of these teams are in similar skill level. I like both of their coaches. I think Tomlin's a better coach, but And then I like Drake May more than I like Aaron Rodgers right now, right? I think the Steelers, they won last week. Or did they? No, they lost. They got shellacked by the Sam Darnold Seahawks. Oh, wow. That's interesting. No, seeing that they got shellacked by the Sam Darnold Seahawks. They took it to the wire with the Justin Fields Jets. Ooh, maybe this Pittsburgh isn't as good as I thought. The Patriots, I know they won last week. Drake May played well. Yeah, but they played the Dolphins, who I think are bottom of the league, bottom feeders. So, maybe an early season tank bowl. But I actually think the Patriots are like average, which is better than last year. I think the Patriots win this one. I guess I just got caught up in the Rodgers hype after game one, after week one. But yeah, you're thinking about it. I think the Patriots win. I think Drake May takes another, continues to improve upon all this play. I think he's playing well. I think his team around him sucks, but it's better than the Pittsburgh team. I hope to see Stevenson step up. Yeah, I think New England's good. I'm confident in them. Yeah, let's go with that. Packers Browns. I hate to say it. Come on, man. It's the Browns. It's the Browns. What are they gonna do? Right? The Packers are gonna win this one. They look like they're on a tear. Packers are gonna crush. They're gonna crush the Browns. They're gonna really run up the score. It's not gonna be close. But if I'm a Packers fan, I'm a be an antagonist towards you. I'm gonna hate on you. How often does the team that comes right out the gate, crushing everyone, the early season Super Bowl favorite, how often do they actually maintain that throughout the season? Right, last year the Lions lost. Last year the Saints, I mean, they won 2 games crazily. They fell off. Just keep that in mind. You have one real defensive player, superstar defensive player, and that's something to think about. I'm a hater. I'll continue to hate. What do you want from me? But this game, I think the Packers win. The only way the Packers lose this game is if they get injured. And they're still going to win the game, but injuries to players, specifically against the Browns, ugh, you don't want to waste anything on the Browns, right? So, yeah, Green Bay wins. They lose, I think that'll be the funniest thing. I hope to God it happens. Well, I don't know. I don't like the No, okay. So I dislike the Packers for competitive reasons, but there's a respect to it because they beat him on my team. The Browns, I dislike the Browns on a moral level. So, pray on both of the teams' downfall. I hate that game. Will not be watching. Next up, Jets Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers win. I think the Jets have spirit. I think it'll be crushed soon, but they have spirit. They got crushed by the Bills. It's the Bills, so can't fault them too much. The Buccaneers, I think, are a really good team. I think they are right under the Rams, if not on the same level as the Rams. Are both heavy hitters, juggernauts of the NFC. So, I mean, yeah, I think I give it to the Buccaneers. I don't think the Jets stand much of a chance. It's not a divisional game. Yeah, I like Baker Mayfield. I think he's encroaching on that elite level if he's not already there. But you didn't hear from me. I think he might be. If I were to take quarterback for next game, I might take him over Mahomes. But you didn't hear that from me. Actually, that's not true. I'd still take Mahomes. But hey, Mayfield's good. He seems to keep getting better. He's literally the personification of got that dog in him. I love Baker. So, yeah, go Bucks. Right? I'm still obviously Vikings fan, but I'm rooting for them. If my team can't win, I want a team like the Buccaneers to win, right? Broncos Chargers. Bo Nix is still looking iffy. They're 1-1. That game against the Colts I did watch. Wow. I am sorry for you Broncos fans. I am. But if you want some entertainment, go back and watch the first kick made, the one that the Broncos made. If you're looking at the fans, right, they were playing in Indianapolis. There was one Broncos fan that he once he saw the kicker miss. Yeah, wait, yeah. Once he saw the Colts kicker miss that guy, he was antagonizing everyone around him. He was a menace. He was like, got him. He was like, oh man, he made me so mad. And then new kick, quiet, just completely still. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on TV. That was quality, peak cinema to me. Um, yeah, but you know that. Back on topic. Back on topic. Broncos. They're playing the Chargers. Hey, the Chargers are real, man. I'm telling you, the Chargers. They beat the Chiefs week 1. Shellacked division. Both they're 2-0 in their division by week 2, which is good. Winning divisional games is not easy, and the Chargers historically do not win those games. I think. Hey, what happened last time Jim Harbaugh was coaching in the NFL? He turned the Niners around, right? Led them to like a playoff appearance. They lost immediately. The next year they went to the NFC Championship. Kind of similar right now, isn't it? I think the Chargers. I think my entire life the Chargers have been frauds. They've been the Vikings of the AFC. Maybe not for long. I think the Chargers win. I think the Broncos they overperformed last year, but I don't. They're going up against a well-coached, disciplined team in Harbaugh. I think the Chargers win. Right, undisciplined teams can be really good, but they have more variability, like the Commanders and the Cardinals. Chargers, you know what you get, right? Both types of teams can like do well, have great success. I don't think the Chargers are going to go on super streaky runs like the Commanders did last year, but they're good, consistent play. They're going to win a lot of games. They can go far. I'm watching the Chargers. They are sneaky pick. Keep an eye on them. Saints Seahawks. I think the Seahawks win. I think the Saints are still trash. I hate the Saints because of 09. And I'm glad to see them fail. The cap shenanigans are caught up to them. They're a bad team. Seahawks. Hey, Sam Darnold's not that bad. Mike McDonald. Hey, he's helping, right? He almost led them to the playoffs last year, right? With the expanded playoff format, I think it's always a tragedy when a team that wins more games than loses misses. But yeah, I think Seahawks are good. They can take a step. Maybe they can do some damage this year. Hopefully, I'm happy to see Sam Darnold succeed. I think they're gonna beat the Saints. Glad Saints have really nothing going for them. They don't even have spirit at this point. They're just fighting for their lives. Who cares? Saints are gonna lose. Seahawks are gonna win. At least that's what I believe. Bears Cowboys. Oh, this is the battle of just sadness. I don't even think either of these teams are that bad. Well, I mean, you know what, Cowboys fans, I don't want to rain on your parade. Y'all won last week. It was a crazy game. I think y'all win this week. Let's be positive. Let's be positive Andes, right? Bears, Caleb Williams is bad. Maybe it's looking like y'all got the second worst. As of right now, y'all have the second worst quarterback picked in the top 12. Only better than McCarthy of that draft class, right? Bears, vibes are low. I'd feel so bad. Y'all got embarrassed by the Lions, who got embarrassed by the Packers, and then y'all lost to the Vikings, who look like they're chumps this year too. So y'all are low, right? Like Kevin O'Connell's had one good quarter of the past 16, and that's enough to beat y'all. Like, come on. Yeah, Cowboys, I think y'all aren't very good this year. Y'all shouldn't have had a close game with the Giants. Shouldn't have taken what it did, but y'all won. You know what? Ride that high, right? Dak Prescott will keep the ship right. CeeDee Lamb will keep the ship right. Beat the Bears. Cruise on 2-1. That's a good start, right? I'll take the Cowboys. I think the Bears are chumps. They're not getting anything done. Cardinals Niners. Brock Purdy's out, isn't he? Yeah, Brock Purdy's out. I think Brock Purdy's underrated. Ordinarily, Uh, this games with the Cardinals are hard to predict because I think they're an inconsistent team. I think if they play well, they can beat the Niners with Purdy starting. If they play bad, the Niners without Purdy starting are going to beat them. I think on average, I think the Cardinals are better. I think Kyler Murray, he's entering a year where he's got to prove that he can be a guy, right? I think people are very much starting to doubt he can win. I give it, yeah, I give this one to the Cardinals just because Niners injuries galore. Their veterans are in there. They tend to do this. It's not their fault, right? Kyle Shanahan, I don't know if he can fight this off, but you're gonna go through the not this shit again, not this again, right? So yeah, I think the Cardinals take it, but yeah, I don't think the Cardinals are bad. They're 2-0, so yeah, they're 2-0. Don't look at who they've beaten. Saints Panthers. I just looked it up. Right, like what? Wins aren't easy to come by. They've been able to win. I'll give it to Arizona, but I'm not sure. Hey, the Bills Dolphins game just started. Yeah, makes sense. Whoops. All right, let's see. We got two more games. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs Giants. Why is this a thing? Why is that Sunday Night Football? Chiefs Giants. Like if this is a good game, I'm incredibly nervous if I'm the Chiefs. Like this should not be a good game. This is a get right game. The world is watching. They're watching this 0-2 team, the battle of the 0-2s, right? But the world is watching the Chiefs. They want to know if they're dead. Will Andy Reid be able to adapt again? He's done it before many times. We'll see. I mean, the Chiefs have had two really good teams to go up against. I think that I do think they win, but the only way I come out of this game excited as a Chiefs fan is if you crush the opposition. And even then, don't get your hopes up too high. NFL fans love to see their team beat up on garbage and then think, oh, we're going to do well. This is the expected outcome. Anything, if you crush the Giants, be like, okay, that's expected. That's it. If it's a close game, if they win it, it's a close game. Oh my goodness, I'm panicking. It should not be close against the Giants. New York, you're on the opposite. If you can win this game or even be close, well, everyone's going to assume the Chiefs are dead. I will too. But maybe y'all can prove it, right? Y'all are 0-2. Y'all should have won last week, so Daboll, I think Daboll should be on the hot seat. I think he's like Mike McDaniel, right? He had this great scheme, gave the Giants success, got figured out. Now he's losing. I think Kevin O'Connell's going through that now. We're going to see if he can adapt. But back to the Giants, right? Don't waste Malik Neighbors like the Vikings are wasting Jefferson. Don't do it. Please don't. Malik Neighbors is something special. But yeah, I think the Chiefs win. They're the Chiefs. They're consistent. I'm going to take proven Andy Reid over Daboll, who's washed. And Russell Wilson, who I think he's underrated, which is sad. I think he gets too much hate, but it's still not Mahomes. Lions, Ravens. I think the Ravens win this. I think the Lions, they're a good team. I'd put them on the same tier as the Seahawks right now. They are not in the upper echelon of like heavy hitters. They're not the Los Angeles Chargers. They're not the Buffalo Bills. They're not the Baltimore Ravens. They are not the Green Bay Packers. Right? They are absolutely not the Green Bay Packers. We saw what happened to them. My gosh. So they're good. I don't think they're even playoff worthy. If we're being honest, I think the NFC North is going into the season super overrated. I think all of the teams take a step back. I would have said the Vikings wouldn't, but they clearly have taken a step back. So I think, yeah, NFC North, we only get one playoff team, and I don't think it's the Lions. I think the Ravens won this pretty handedly. I think they're going to embarrass themselves on Monday Night Football. That's the last prediction I've got. Cats be doing cat things. I write. I should have had an article out yesterday. I'll probably get it out today. Where if you're a Vikings fan, I really talk about what went wrong, because a lot went wrong. I don't really give much reason to hope. I look at things that we need to keep an eye on. But I think it's well written. It'll probably be out tomorrow because I like to publish things at 8 a.m. because I'm a sicko. And I look forward. I break down the Vikings Bengals game a little closer. I'll also post a video about that where I basically recap what I wrote about because I write a lot. I just do it for the love of the game. I just think it's fun to write. I think it's fun to talk about football. That's why I'm doing it. Uh, and like none of my friends really care, so that's why I'm here. Um, yeah, so I'll link my Substack. I think it's well written, right? Even if you don't care about these two teams, you want to learn about them. You want to learn about, you know, computer ran out of storage, but I was practically done. So yeah, just check that out. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Have a good one.